I don't even need to argue with you. Like I really don't. I mean, the numbers tell otherwise. Like it's actually pretty glaring. This is from The Athletic. Now all of you are going to stop listening now. I had a guy send me a screenshot of the penalties in this game. By the way, I'm going to pick the Bills this week. I think the Bills are beating the Chiefs. Before you say I'm going to slurp the Chiefs, I got the Bills winning this fucking game. How about that? Right now, right here, I got the Bills winning this game. But I'm going to tell you what being fair and balanced is all about. No Fox News. This is what it's about. Okay? From The Athletic, NFL officials have amassed 47 penalties against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter and overtimes of one-score games over the past 2 seasons, including playoffs. Those same officials have assessed 48 penalties against the Chiefs' opponents in those same critical situations. The yardage totals are similarly close, 307 yards against the Chiefs, 340 against opponents. I don't need to do the homework. It's right here. I got another one. I watched this video last week. Let me just, because I can see the chat going off. I'm not looking. Okay. Since 2018, this is when Patrick Mahomes took over as quarterback. The Chiefs have been assessed 800 plus more yards and penalties than their opponents. They have been called for 196 holds.
That's just their tackle. That dude. That
okay,
dude.
he has 140 of them.
Yeah,
okay.
It's all Jawan Taylor.
over 4,000 dropbacks, 30 roughing the passer penalties, 4,000 dropbacks. 3rd and 10 or longer and 4th and 5 or longer this season. Chiefs have 2 penalties in their favor, 15th in the NFL. Second half penalties in one-score games. No team has had more flags thrown against them than the Kansas City Chiefs. Unless the guy that I saw putting these stats together is just gaslighting me and lying. And you can go out and see if these check out. I mean, you're arguing with feelings, not facts. Well, and I don't like the feelings thing, because I got feelings too.
Here's the thing.
Here's what I think. Here's my feelings. Y'all hate the Chiefs a lot more than I like the Chiefs. Y'all are the ones emotional, talking about all they get is the calls when the numbers say otherwise. So after a game, when I got fans screenshotting and saying to me, hey, look at this, they had 8 penalties for 96 yards or whatever, the Chiefs had half of them. Numbers back it up, Chris. I'm like, oh, well, let's ignore the macro statistical information and just cherry pick this one game and be like, just see, look what happened. What do you think the conversation was after the Carl Cheffers debacle? Whether it was the phantom roughing the passer on Tom Brady years back in primetime, or Chris Jones screaming at an official, which leads to a penalty and nobody knows what he said and the Colts win the game, or last year, that Kadarius Toney character is offsides, and all these fans all of a sudden are like they're experts on alignment and assignment in the NFL and the frequency with which a penalty gets like called in these situations. Y'all are arguing with feelings. I don't need to argue with people who are arguing with feelings. I'm going to lay out the numbers and then tell you that in every NFL game, a bad call is made. Go back. Otherwise, we wouldn't hear all this complaint about officiating every fucking game. They also play in more primetime games than anybody, so you see them. Mm-hmm. And so I really do think, like, while those calls were fucked up, the one call was fucked up. The second call, you put yourself in that position. I don't care if it's unfair or not. Another thing about the Will Anderson thing is, and Jeff Schwartz made this point, and I think he made a really good point. As a former player, Will Anderson after the game, who I love, was like, hey, we knew we'd be playing against the officials and the Chiefs.
So if you know,
then lower your strike zone and don't make it close. Because we talk about all the time, don't put yourself in the position for them to pull a flag out of the
so like that's annoying to say that, because if you knew, then you adjust your rush, you adjust the way you tackle, like you maybe don't try to go for a big hit, you just go for the sure like sack and call it a day. But it's one of those things too that I feel like quarterbacks, they all need to adapt. And whether you think I don't know if it's pride or you feel like it's Bush League to do certain things, but to sell calls is part of the game now. And Patrick Mahomes is the best one to do it.
Josh Allen flops as much as anybody.
Absolutely. He absolutely does.
But I was just about to say that.
But it's something that helps your team potentially win. You maybe not get the call all the time, but hey, if you're upset that it's happening, then I feel like all quarterbacks in any situation that's muddy, that they should maybe flop a little bit and you put it on the refs to give you the call or not. Like, especially out of bounds play. There was a play with Lamar Jackson. I feel like if he would have maybe reacted a little bit, he would have probably got a call that was clearly a hit out of bounds. But it's
as a defender, I don't love any of those calls on the sideline. And listen, does Mahomes get like star treatment? Yeah, but he ain't the only one.
No, he's not.
And the numbers don't back up them getting all the. If you have an argument to make, please. If you have an argument to make other than listen to these guys glazing the Chiefs, stop dick riding. That just tells me that's red flag. Guy doesn't have any brain cells, or he's not an analytical thinker. Give me an actual argument. Don't give me some, anecdotal bullshit like, well, the one time I saw this. That's not the way facts are worked out. Like, you have to, like, if you have a serious claim, like the Chiefs get a bunch of calls, yeah, the Chiefs get a bunch of calls. You know who else gets a bunch of calls? Every other fucking team in the league. And just because you saw their game in primetime and you really want them to lose, and this is where I'm different than you, because I'm not a fan anymore. I was a fan when I was a kid. I played professional football for 11 years. Now I analyze it for a living. I'm not saying I'm better than you for that. I wish I could be a fan, but you operate with a certain amount of emotion that I don't have to. And so, like, the Chiefs don't hurt my feelings. I like greatness. They've been great. The Bills are going to beat them this week. They're not my favorite team. You know who my favorite teams are? These guys will tell you who I actually love. It ain't the Chiefs. It's the Buffalo Bills and the Eagles.
Yep.
Not in that order, but, like, as far as teams that I kind of fanboy about.
Yep.
And guess what? I'm going to love watching Jaden Daniels play.
I was just about to say, and now a Commanders fan.
Not a Commanders fan, but I'm a fan of that kid.
Guys, we're going to get that trip to the stadium, guys. It's going to happen.
Not going.
They got to build a new stadium.
Facts.
I just want to keep twisting the knife.
You
You
weren't
can't get to me.
invited.
Hey, you're out there in the comments. Hey, listen, this is a fun argument. This isn't like a big fuck you, but like nothing you're saying. I'm watching the chat. I'm seeing it in the peripheral. I don't care. The numbers are the numbers. This is one of those things that there are arguments where I feel strained because I feel like I have to win them. I don't have to win this argument.
Yeah.
It really isn't even an argument. You can argue one call in a vacuum and be like, hey, they benefited from that call. Absolutely did. But it happens every game.
I think the point about all the primetime games the Chiefs play was great because it's the availability heuristic where because people see them, like they don't see all the bad calls that happen in the Saints Raiders game, like in the Titans Giants games. They happen in every game. They're awful calls every single week.
Somebody said it's timely flag calls, not just fourth quarter calls, Chris. Well, do me a favor and put together a study on that and get back to me, because right now what we have is data on the fourth quarter. And I just mentioned 3rd and 10 plus and 4th and 5, but not timely like that, like a different kind of timely. At some point, people that are conspiracy theorists, and this is the problem with conspiracy theories, is you don't have to prove your work.
No.
And the Venn diagram between people that are saying the Chiefs get given every fucking game they ever won and people that think that the game is fixed is probably a fucking circle. Because I can tell you neither thing's true. I played in the NFL. There are people that think it's played in a hangar. You sound a little like those people. Now, you could say in this particular game, I hated those calls. But when you start saying things like they always, and this is why, then you're just being emotional. So I just want you to know that. Like, I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying your emotions are getting the best of you.
Chris, I'm shocked that you have done this whole speech without once doing the voice, the patented voice.
No, because I don't want to belittle people over this.
I want you to, though.
I've been I grew up with the Chiefs winning. Oh, I can't take it anymore. I just have to. And I'm not saying like, listen, we all had teams we hated. The Chiefs just, I've never hated the Chiefs because they weren't. I wasn't growing up watching the Chiefs win. They're not like the Cowboys when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
When I played, it was the Patriots. And guess what? I didn't even hate the Patriots because they beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and I couldn't wait to see the Seahawks lose. They were division rivals. And on top of that, I just appreciate greatness. So, like, does that make me like a man with no loyalty or something? Because I'm not, I'm not going to get behind hating a fucking franchise that wins all the time. Sorry, does it make me a front runner? No. I got the Bills this weekend.
Well, STL Memorial from this game